Many years ago, in the quiet community of Umuro, there lived a man named Chaik. He was a trader who sold beautiful African fabrics at the market. Chaik was married to a woman named Eudora, and together they had 2 children, a boy and a girl. In their 10 years of marriage, Eudora had always been a full-time housewife, and a diligent one at that. She cared for her husband and children devotedly, managing the home without complaint. People in Umuro often joke that Eudora had 3 children because her husband, Chaik, was no better than a child himself. Chaik had grown up as the only son of his mother, who pampered him so much that he never learned how to do anything for himself. He couldn't even take his plate to the kitchen after eating, let alone wash it. Luckily for him, he married a gentle and hardworking woman like Eudora, who did everything for him, cooking, cleaning, and tending to his needs. Even after childbirth, Chaik never helped in bathing or feeding the children. The only thing Chaik was good at was his trading business. But he knew his weakness and was grateful to God for blessing him with a woman like Eudora. Eudora, too, felt blessed. Her husband's appreciation of her efforts made her love him even more, and she poured her heart into her family. At first, life was peaceful. But as time passed, Chaik began to crave more. His fabric business often took him to Enugu City, where he met many people, especially women who were bold, fashionable, and confident. Compared to them, Eudora began to seem too simple, too traditional. Chaik started to see his wife as old-fashioned. When he tried to spice things up in their relationship, Eudora couldn't keep up with his new desires. He began to drift away from her. Eudora noticed the changes, his coldness, his late nights, and his distance, but she didn't understand what was happening. Then, during one of his business trips to Enugu, Chaik met a young, well-dressed woman named Tonia. It happened in a fabric store. Chaik was selecting materials when Tonia, standing nearby, smiled and complimented his taste. "You have such sharp eyes for quality," she said warmly. "Could you help me choose some too?" Chaik was flattered and happily obliged. Afterward, Tonia gave him her business card and told him to call her the next time he was in town. Tonia was a project manager in a large company, and Chaik was impressed by her sophistication. Before long, he called her again, and their friendship grew. During one of their lunches, Tonia mentioned she was single and lived alone. Chaik, not wanting her to know he was married, lied, "I'm a widower. My wife passed away years ago. I'm raising my 2 children with the help of a maid." Tonia felt pity for him. He seemed like a responsible, kind man. Their friendship deepened and soon turned romantic. Back home, Eudora tried to talk to her husband, but he no longer listened. Her presence irritated him. He had already made up his mind to leave. One day, Tonia came to Umuro to fetch him. Chaik was waiting with his bags packed. When Eudora saw him, she was shocked. "Chaik, what is going on?" she asked in tears. "I'm done," he said coldly. "I can't continue this marriage." She fell to her knees, begging, but he pushed her aside. When Eudora followed him outside, she saw Tonia and realized this was the woman who had stolen her husband's heart. But the worst came when Tonia, noticing Eudora's tears, asked who she was. "Oh, don't mind her," Chaik said dismissively. "She's just my maid, the one who helps with my children." She's mistaken love for gratitude. Eudora gasped, trembling. "Chaik. How could you? I am your wife." But Chaik ignored her and left with Tonia. Eudora wept bitterly. Her children comforted her, promising to stand by her. Meanwhile, in Enugu, Chaik was living his dream life: luxury, fine dining, laughter, and no responsibilities. That lasted only 2 months. One morning, Tonia woke him up and said, "Chaik, please make tea for me. It's past 6. Chaik was stunned. "You mean me?" "Go to the kitchen." Tonia laughed. "Why not? My housekeeper is away, so you'll help." Chaik panicked. He had never been in a kitchen in his entire life. But Tonia insisted. He eventually went in, confused by the modern kitchen appliances. He tried to recall what Eudora used to do. He filled a cup with water, added 2 spoonfuls of what he thought was chocolate powder, and 2 of what he assumed was milk. He stirred and proudly brought it to Tonia. She took a sip and screamed. The tea burned her mouth terribly. Chaik was terrified. What happened? Are you trying to kill me? She shouted, running to rinse her mouth. When she returned, her lips were swollen. Show me what you used, she demanded. He showed her the containers. She almost fainted. Chaik. You use salt instead of milk, and ground black pepper instead of chocolate powder. She forced him to taste them so he'd understand. The moment the salt touched his tongue, he spat it out, coughing and sweating. Then she gave him a spoon of the chocolate. His mouth caught fire instantly. That day, Chaik realized what real suffering felt like. From that day on, Tonia made him her servant. He did all the cleaning, cooking, and washing. She even fired her housekeeper, saying, I already have one, his name is Chaik. Every morning at 6, Tonia would wake him with a list of chores. If he didn't finish them, he wouldn't eat. He washed her clothes, polished her shoes, and catered to her whims. Chaik was no longer the pampered man he once was, he had become a shadow of himself. Worse still, Tonia belonged to a circle of rich women who competed over how much control they had over their men. Whenever they met, they would parade their houseboys like trophies. Chaik was one of them. He lived this way for a year, humiliated, broken, and empty. At last, he decided he couldn't take it anymore. He fled back to Umuaro. But when he arrived, his house was empty. Edeora and the children had moved away. After searching, he found their new place and knocked. Edeora opened the door but refused to let him in. He looked weary and ashamed. Edeora, he said softly, please forgive me. I don't know what came over me. That woman must have bewitched me. I want to start over with you and the children. Edeora's eyes were cold. Start over. With you? No, Chaik. I moved on long ago. When you left, I realized how much of a burden you were. Apart from providing money, which you rarely did willingly, you brought nothing but stress. Chaik begged, I've changed. I can cook, clean, I've learned everything. Edeora smiled bitterly. Oh, I'm sure your city woman taught you well. But that's not my concern anymore. You made your choice. When you called me your maid, you killed whatever love I had for you. Please don't come here again. With that, she shut the door. Chaik stood outside, speechless. He wandered the streets, broken and lost. He realized that he had thrown away gold for dust, and now even the dust had rejected him. With nothing left, no wife, no children, no business, Chaik decided to atone for his past. He left Umuaro and joined a monastery, choosing a life of silence and repentance. When Edeora heard of it, she felt no emotion. Her heart was finally free. Moral lessons. Appreciate those who truly love and care for you. Don't let greed or lust make you destroy your blessings. True wealth isn't found in luxury but in peace, respect, and gratitude. Once trust and love are broken, they can never return the same way.